You're now tuned into Straight from the Chair, where we give you that raw, uncut, 100%, no filter perspectives of the world, from a man's point of view. You're now checking in with Bryce Davis.
Marcus Murray, otherwise known as the barber with the bow tie.
And speaking of, man, hey, Marcus, what is a man? Nowadays, it used to be somebody that, it's not even that hard to explain, but, a boy that, procreates with a woman. But, nowadays in the media, you got people that feel like they can be men as well that weren't born that way. So if you could take it from here to let us know exactly what is a man.
Man, well, it's funny because I was watching a YouTuber, and he was doing this tour of America and Africa, and he was asking, Americans what their definition of male and female were, and he was asking, Africans what their definition of a male and female was. And it's funny because in America, it's a political thing now. We don't want to be politically incorrect, so we play stupid. There are many people that admitted as Americans, they no longer knew what a woman was or a man was. And that's crazy to me. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Gender roles, people frown on those, but I think they're important to.
Let me ask you, you feel like all gender roles are necessary in 2024 like they were back in the 70s, the 80s, things like that?
I think they're even more necessary now because we're lying to ourselves. We're saying that um, masculinity is toxic. We're saying that women should be independent. We're saying that
they shouldn't be independent.
Well, independent. Yeah, you can be an independent woman if you don't plan to raise a family.
That's true. I agree with that.
If you don't plan to raise a family, you can be independent all you want. But if you plan on raising a family, there's factors to that equation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, no, I feel like gender roles are important because as a male entity with a penis and testosterone, that labels me something different than a female entity with breast, a vagina, and estrogen pumping through their body. These are qualifications, or these are characteristics that qualify us to be who we say we are, man and woman.
Yeah, I was just about to add on to that too. If you think about it, what does independent mean? Being independent of what? And so when you say that being independent and having a family don't go together, it doesn't, because you're independent of having a man usually. But they'll say, relying on a man, which is two different things. But
Well, if you define the word like you said, independent, man, that isn't an isolated incident. That's not a circumstantial situation. Independence is exactly what it defines. Matter of fact, let's define independence. The way Google understands it. I'm a Webster head. I got 3 or 4 different dictionaries.
Oh, I am too. I heard you use the word colloquialism earlier, and I was like, oh yeah, I like to know the etymology, the origins of words, and how they're being used and things like that. So, let's just go to an official source with it, see what it says.
Define the word independent. All right. So as an adjective,
okay,
it says free from outside control, not depending on others, authority. Canada's largest independent investment firm.
Authority.
Right.
Okay.
So that's what the woman is, I think, protesting, being submissive to the authority of a man. So I'm independent. I don't need a man. Well, that's a lie. Not depending on another for livelihood or subsistence. I wanted to remain independent in old age.
Okay.
So I'm gonna read that again. Not depending on another for livelihood or subsistence. Now an independent person or body, one of the few independents left in the music business. So as a noun, it says, I hate when they use the word to define itself.
Yeah.
As a noun, it says an independent person or body.
Okay. Now that makes sense. You know, especially now we have full context behind the word, because I feel like a lot of people just throw words around without having knowing the real meaning behind it. It just sounds good to say, "Yo, I'm independent," and it's not an attack on women at all, because you know, at all, zero. But you know, you got a lot of people saying they're independent that's not independent. You know, relying on government help and all that. You know, to each his own. But you know.
I agree. Yeah, no, I'm not here to pick fights with anybody, but I think we need to really think about the shit we say and do. You know what I mean? Mama always told us, Granny always told us, think before you speak.
You know that's a fact.
And a lot of times nowadays, I think society is so into proving it is what it wants to be, whatever it is. You know what I mean? I think society is in a position where it's trying to prove to itself that it isn't the traditional situation it used to be. Society is trying to be independent from tradition. You know what I mean? Yep. So in the long run, it's causing people to overlook what they're actually saying. In my eyes, I'm nobody. I'm just a mild mannered barber.
Just the barber with the bow tie. That's all. With the bow tie. I know that's right. And speaking of independence, you know, it's been a mass migration in the Springfield area. We got a lot of Haitians coming through, and you know, we got people saying that they're out here eating animals, cats, dogs, all this other nonsense, and you know,
they would be no different than the Asians.
But you know, they about to make that the new joke now. Because back in the day, it was eating mug cakes.
Oh, that's what that was?
Yeah. Back in the day, Haitians, you know what I'm saying? You know, they always got the jokes.
Right.
You know, Jamaicans, it became cool to be Jamaican because of Bob Marley and, you know, weed and whatnot. I'm not saying that that's all Jamaica is, but, you know, but with the Haitians, you know, unfortunately, even though they have a rich history, you know, with the rhetoric that's being spewed through the airway, you know, it's going to bring more bullshit, more, you know, division amongst people. When at the end of the day, you know, people just trying to make better ways for themselves. And, you know, they ain't come down here to party for nothing. You know, people be talking like they just came down here to terrorize things. And it's like, nah, just like any other country, you know, where people migrate.
Honestly, when I think about it, it's funny that Haitians are now just becoming, I guess, a people of concern, because you didn't really hear much about Haitians other than the fact that they were the first black entity or first group of blacks that were able to successfully fight against slavery. So they didn't have to suffer the way a lot of early people of color in America had, the way they had to suffer. You know, so they get the most respect as historically being a powerhouse.
Oh yeah, a successful revolt.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
even though they paid.
Oh, they paid the price. Because,
yeah.
You know, they had
to pay for
smothered. No, nobody got no. They had no support from any government in the world.
I can't wait till they make a movie on it. I know they ain't going to, but you know.
That would be live though.
Yeah.
But it was
a successful revolt.
Man. From the time, right, the successful revolt.
Yeah.
Up until now, I guess. I don't know. But voting. You voting?
Am I voting? Nah, I ain't voting. How about you?
The way I feel right now, I don't think I'll be at the polls. Not for the presidential election. I'm gonna vote in the what was it, secondaries?
Okay. Local elections.
Right.
So I mean, that's not something that I just go out and spew towards other people. Like, nah, I ain't voting, you know. But since you asked me, you know, nah, I ain't voting. But I do encourage other people to vote. You know, look into politics, educate yourself. Unfortunately for me, I wasn't privy to certain information. That's not an excuse to not do it. But even now, you know, I got to get up on game. Who's, you know, what policies. We see the ads with Sharon Brown telling us about transgender
Right.
athletes and all that. So
You
obviously,
want your transgender son to be able to beat regular girls in sports, vote for Sherrod Brown.
and you gotta watch out for people like me who will identify as a child if I see a boy playing against my daughter, if you know what I mean.
Right.
But you know, that's just a little taste of what's there to come. You know, it's gonna be a lot more in the future.
Get your feet wet with us. You know, just sit at the pool.
Gotta get 'em a little sample, you know, a
Right,
little
right,
sample
right.
pack. You know, don't give them the whole gram, just a little bit. You know,
A little tester, so you
Like,
come back for more.
the test
That
bag.
kind of
That's
thing.
all.
You can tell he was a drug dealer. You know,
Never.
he know about testing.
I push hope. You heard? But yeah, once again, I'm Bryce Davis, man, coming straight from the chair. You know, the #1 podcast on the B. Got to speak that out to existence.
Right.
And of course, this is Marcus, Mr. Barber with the bow tie, officially himself, giving you that knowledge, giving you that guidance, giving you everything you probably needed as a child, but didn't hear because, you know, your dad went to go get some milk and he never came back. And here you are.
Or he was bullied by your mom, so he never got a chance to be the masculine man that he was meant to be. So,
Yeah. Either way, you know.
Right. We here to give you that G code, baby.
You heard?